Hey there viewers, I want to shoot this quick video on how to test a fuel tank pressure sensor. So right here on our fuel module, this guy right here is our fuel tank pressure sensor. And I've already got it back probed, and right now I don't have the red or the black leads hooked up to anything. So on our scan tool, or on our multimeter, we are reading 1.53 volts. Hopefully you could see one of those images. I know there's probably a glare. I'm just going real slow. Hopefully you can see that voltage. The only thing I have plugged in, I got the black lead. I ground off a bare spot right there. So I got the black lead right there. And then this green wire here connected to my positive lead on my multimeter, but it's back probed to the middle. That's our signal wire. It goes back to the ECM. The 5 volt reference is what this red wire right here. And it's actually, the wire itself is actually, I believe, a gray wire. And then of course I don't have this, I got this back probed to the ground side of this thing, but it's not hooked up to anything currently. So that's what our meter reads, 1.53. And if we come in here and we look at the scan tool, and I'm going to try to, hopefully you can read that fuel tank pressure is at 1.49 volts. Let me bring it in a little bit. Hopefully you could see that in one of these images. It's showing fuel tank pressure 0.13. I'm going to go ahead and let's just see if we can hear a whoosh. I didn't hear anything. Still reading the same amount. Now just a little background. I've been getting the P0446 vent control circuit. I'll show you that here in a little bit. Let me go ahead and unplug this. So when we unplug it, it should go to 0. Come on baby, get out of there. Come on, okay. So the sensor's unplugged. Here on our multimeter, it's reading 0.04. Bring it in. Hopefully you can see that. One of these views. On the scan tool, reading 0 volts. Let me bring that up here. So we have 0 volts after I unplug the sensor. And okay. Now when I'm going to connect my meter. I'm going to jump the 5 volt reference, which is the red wire here. So if I just do this, we could just use a pen if we want. And if we just jump across here like this, come on, there we go. If we look at our meter's reading 5 volts. We bring it in, hopefully you could see that. If we want to look at the scan tool, see what it's reading, we could take our trying to keep this guy away from ground. Have these leads all sorted out. Bear with me just one moment here. Trying to get this. situated. Okay. So now, we'll jump across here to this. Going from the 5-volt reference, we're jumping it to the reference signal. So again, on our meter, it was the same thing we did with just the pins. It's reading 5 volts here. But now we can go in and look at our scan tool. And of course it reads 5 volts. Let me see, hopefully you guys can see that. Bring it in here. We've got 5 volts right there. Fuel tank pressure sensor. Bring it in real close and back off. Hopefully you can see one of those. So if we disconnect that, okay. So now we're going to jump the 5-volt reference to ground. So hook that guy right there. And on our multimeter, we're reading 0.05. So pretty much no voltage. Bring the camera in, and there we go. If we look at our scan tool, we're reading 0 volts. 0 volts. Bring it in really close. Hopefully you guys can see that. Kind of move it around. Bring it in close again. Alright, so that's what we're supposed to read. So you can either do this with a scan tool, or you could do it with a multimeter. So make sure on your multimeter though, you put your ground lead coming off your multimeter, just attach him to ground. And I took a Dremel and I took this sanding bit and I ground us a good ground connection here so that we could get a good reading. You could just jump across, if you have a scan tool, using some sort of a jumper wire or paper clip or something. Just don't want to, if you use a paper clip, just don't push a paper clip into these pins because you'll spread them apart. And one last thing, I just want to show you what the codes are that I have. Let me see if we can exit out of this. Let's exit. 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 Let's go read trouble codes. And so I got the P0446 evap emission vent system performance. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Maybe you guys can see that. Kind of come back out. And it looks like I got. So upon testing, we also have fuel tank pressure sensor circuit high voltage. We set that, or I set that. It's a P0453. Now this only had 2 codes in here. It had 2 of the P0446s, but now we also have fuel tank pressure sensor circuit low voltage that will we caused that, so we caused this one and the other one. Now this P0446 has been getting set. Now usually to fix this code right here, usually replacing the sensor that we were testing, that fuel tank pressure sensor is usually what takes care of that. So basically, if we just kind of think about what we did, we know that our circuit wiring is good to our ECM. So going back to the PCM, when we jumped the voltage 5-volt reference to our signal wire, that verified that our 5-volt reference was present and that we had a good reading going back to the PCM, and our PCM was showing us 5 volts. So as far as doing with the multimeter here, it only concluded that we had a 5 volt reference. We didn't really, it did not verify the wiring, but using the scan tool, we actually verified that the wiring is good. And when we jumped, of course, from the reference to the ground, we verified that the ground wire is good, and also, of course, we, it was a double. It also verified that, our ECM, our PCM is also good. So, anyway, I'm actually going to replace this sensor. I have a new one here. I got an AC Delco, and I'll probably if I do shoot a video on replacing that, I'll just shoot a different video than this one. Anyway, I hope you guys find that video, hope you find that helpful, and thanks for watching.